Good morning. Welcome to Tip Off this morning. I hope you're doing well. Let me turn up the volume a little bit on our YouTube end of things and probably as well on the audio version. Thanks so much. I hope you guys have checked out the new Locked On Jazz and really enjoy it. Again, special thanks to Bill Lee. We're working on some more additions to it. Hopefully, it'll continue and get a bit better. What a weekend. Really fun All-Star weekend, and what a weekend for Jeremy Evans. And when I say that, if you don't smile, you aren't human. This guy's great. We obviously adore him, enjoy him, and this is a neat opportunity for him. And to do it with Gordon, his close friend, they have a friendship that's really special. It's cool. I know that the dunk contest, frankly, rightfully so, is getting banged on for all sorts of problems. And I mean, Derek Williams basically loses that dunk contest by missing dunks. Uh, and they got to figure out how they're going to get guys back into it or not. But in the meantime, we don't care. Boingy won the slam dunk contest, and it was awesome. Reminder here, here's the schedule for the Jazz. We fly tonight after they're going to practice here this afternoon. All the guys get back. And then we fly to Sacramento to see Jimmer and the Kings. Wednesday, we're home against Houston, and Friday against Miami. That Houston game is part of a really good ticket package, which is Houston, then Ricky Rubio in Minnesota, Kevin Love in that as well, an all-star, and then Sacramento and Jimmer Fredette, all one part of one package. Call 801-325-2999. And then Miami this Friday. Nothing needs to be said. That is just going to be awesome to see Miami and what they're able to do and the way they play and what, just the talent on the floor, and see if there's any way for us to match up. When you look at the Jazz, and then I got another funny one I got to share with you. Just in regards to Miami and the All-Star game, you got to have players there. You can try to build a team, a collective body of work, but if you're going to be, what I think the goal every year is to be in the Final Four of your conference, you got to have a player there. If you look at the Eastern Conference, they will have Miami, Chicago, Orlando, depending on what happens with Dwight. Those rumors are going to start going nuts. And probably Boston, maybe Indiana, maybe Atlanta. They all have a player there. In the West, you'll have Oklahoma City and San Antonio. They should have two players there. And Timmy doesn't necessarily make it. And Denver's the team that's trying to buck the mold a little bit. Denver's trying to get there without one of those guys. But you've got to have a player there, and quite honestly, we're not close to having a player there right now. Maybe Al, a little bit just by numbers, but not really. And so the question is whether any of these four youngsters can get there, can play in that game. And I did a huge breakdown on the post play, which I thought was insightful, really insightful, to where Favors and Cantor are, and neither of them are great in the post, which is hard for Ty because you're trying to win games and trying to do things correctly, and you go to the post with both these guys, and neither of them are highly efficient. Favors is in a slump right now, but had started to get better. It was actually really interesting. I broke down Favors by every 15 shots he took on post plays, and he had just gotten one better, which is a lot, on every sequence of 15 until just recently. But what really jumped out to me about Favors is that he just doesn't know necessarily what he's trying to do every time he gets the ball. And there's no foundational primary move, and then but they're all there. Like, you can watch Favors, and go ahead and read this. There's a numbers thing, and then there's a film study. And I think what you'll see, at least what I thought I saw, was that on Favors specifically, who I think is the first and most important piece, is that all of the pieces are there. So what should be the primary move to the middle from left block, which is him rolling to the right with a hook over the middle, is there. And he's got a little bit of the counter to that is coming back into a drop step like we've seen Al, or into a step back jumper. And we're seeing all of them. They're not particularly efficient right now or successful. And because of that, I think he then plays around, tries to find the next one rather than just living by it. And then on the right block where he gets the ball most of the time, though, I think he's more comfortable on the left. He's beginning to have a two dribble to the left, left-hand dribble to the middle, and then step back, jumper, and then if they override it, then he's found one where he can kind of go baseline. His jumper straight up is not good enough on either of those circumstances, which he must improve, or else guys are going to give him room. And when Favors is guarded by a lesser guy, he buries him. I have to say that jumped out at me more than just about anything else on Favors and Cantor is once they got up against fellow youngs, then they were able to beat him. When they were up against a veteran, then that was not something they were able to do. And so I think that's worth watching. So go read that if you have a second. I thought it was worth the time. All-Star game was great. Frankly, I don't watch a lot of it. I watched some of the fourth quarter, but I got things. I was out with the kids. Had a wonderful day. My 9-year-old, for those of you skiers, my 9-year-old and I climbed to Scotts Bowl and Pioneer Ridge this weekend, which made him a super huge trooper. So that was pretty cool. The Dwight Howard trade rumors are going to go nuts starting now. The big one that's out there right now is that coming up here at the turn of March is Hito, Dwight, and Jameer Nelson to the Lakers for Bynum and Gasol. So the Lakers leave with Jameer Nelson as their point guard, Hito to play with Kobe, Dwight Howard inside, no power forward on their roster, and I'd have to check what Jameer Nelson's contract status is. Giving up Bynum and Gasol is an awful lot, but I have a feeling that Orlando is going to try to convince people that unless they get both those guys, they're not doing it. Orlando simultaneously is floating a rumor that they are interested in going after Steve Nash, which trying to portray the idea that they're still trying to build for a championship, which I think actually that's really smart on their part. Whether it's true or not, they probably should float a lot of rumors that they're trying to acquire talent. What's getting very interesting is the Darren Williams situation in New Jersey, where New Jersey is suddenly losing control of this situation. They may still come out like gangbusters and have it work out for them, but their goal was to try to put these three pieces together. It does not look like they're going to be able to grab anybody at the trade deadline. And then the question is whether you try to move Darren and get something for him. I mean, can you go get Pau Gasol for Darren Williams right now, and then you at least have something to stand for? Though I don't know what that would do to if New Jersey would be any good. But New Jersey could really rue the day here, where they end up giving up Cantor, Favors, and then if the Jazz ever end up with the Warriors pick as well. So that's worth keeping an eye on. And then from a Jazz standpoint, as we move toward this next step, this slide they're on, what is it? I was looking at it yesterday. They've lost 5 of 6 and 8 of 10. Sorry, my mouse just fell. So if you're on YouTube, I just ducked to the ground. What really, looking at January and February, what's happened is a huge defensive slip. And then moreover than that, specifically, and I'll put this up on Locked On Jazz today, is an unbelievable fall in fourth quarter defense. And, I mean, it's so insane. I mean, I always kind of knew all year that while the Jazz were sitting there as the best defensive team in the fourth quarter, that something to me didn't really ring true about that. It just didn't feel like the Jazz had the makeup of a team that could be a best fourth quarter defense. But for them to be where they are now is stunning. So in January, in 15 fourth quarters, the Jazz allowed 38.5% shooting and 21 points a game. And their pace of play has not changed a great deal. So 15 games, which was, worth noting, the fewest games played by any team in January. Worth noting that all but 3 of those games were at home. I mean, that's the story here. The Jazz had the number 1 defense in the fourth quarter. The next side of things that comes through, look out, I'm on camera, so you end up on camera if you walk in. I'll be right there, sweetie. You woke up on your own? Oh, hi, good morning. My little daughter just woke up. Then you switch it. In the fourth quarter of February, the Jazz have allowed 48.5%. I mean, it's incredible in 13 games. They're also sending people back to the free throw line a lot. They've allowed teams to go to the free throw line the second most amount of times in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's incredible. They've gone from 21 points to 26, and almost 10 percentage points. The opponents are shooting better. It's clear that some of this has to do with the pick and roll that people are playing. Some of this has to do with uh, I don't know, fatigue, playing on the road, a lot of things. But it is a disastrous mess in fourth quarters. And if you isolate everything else about the team, that truly seems to be the difference: is fourth quarter defense. They're allowing teams to shoot better, and they're sending them to the line more, and that more than anything else. All right, I'm going to cut this short because my little girl's awake, and I'm going to go see her. Hope you have a good morning. Thank you very much for tuning in to Tip Off today. And I'll have some of that data that I just threw up there up on the site, and then we'll join you from Sacramento tomorrow morning for Tip Off. And podcast this week might be a little tough. We had a big week last week, so we'll try to see if we can get 2 or 3 out this week. All right, see you.